What is setting? Jeremiah.
Setting is where and when story takes place.
Where the story takes place. Exactly. So a specific place. Jonathan.
Like what the story is all about.
No, that would be more theme. The setting is place. Remember, it's where the story takes place. Any other comments on setting before I read? So it helps you visualize. Where is the story taking place? Taking place on the moon? Is it taking place in the ocean? It helps you to visualize where the author is. And I think E.B. White is a master at explaining where the setting is. I am on page 14 of Charlotte's Web. Actually, it starts on page 13. The barn was pleasantly warm in winter when the animals spent most of their time indoors. And it was pleasantly cool in summer when the big doors stood wide open to the breeze. The barn had stalls on the main floor for the workhorses, tie-ups on the main floor for the cows, a sheepfold down below for the sheep, a pig pen down below for Wilbur. And it was full of all sorts of things that you could find in barns: ladders, grindstones, pitchforks, monkey wrenches, scythes, lawnmowers, snow shovels, axe, handles, milk pails, water buckets, empty grain sacks, and rusty rat traps. It was the kind of barn that swallows like to build their nests in. It was the kind of barn that children like to play in. The whole thing was owned by Furr's uncle, Mr. Homer L. Zuckerman. So, can you visualize what this barn looks like? Yes. Can you visualize everything that's in it? All of the equipment, where the animals go, very specific, down to the tie-ups for the cows, stalls for the horses, pig pen for Wilbur. It is an amazing example of setting. He captures, and then he goes on, and then you can almost capture the smells and the sounds. What kind of sounds do you think you're going to find in a barn or hear in a barn? Emmy. What's that? A horse neighing. What other sounds? Because setting also is supposed to invoke our senses. How do our senses react to the setting that the author is trying to tell us about? What can you smell? You can always envision. So we can hear the horse's neighing. What kind of smells do you think you would smell when you walked into the barn? Grayson.
Smelly smells.
Smelly smells. Especially where poor Wilbur is. Where is Wilbur? Yeah, poor Wilbur. But other kind of smells would you smell that we were talking about earlier that would smell good? Emmy. What's that? The hay. M. Ooh, yeah. Do you think that would smell good? No, but that is a very distinct smell. Absolutely. Olivia.
The grain.
The what?
The grain.
Oh, the brain. I thought you said the brain. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh.
Or you smell the grain?
The grain. Yes, the grain. What about the leather straps from the horses? The harnesses. Yes. So there is such a plethora of different smells, different sights, different noises. And E.B. White does such a spectacular job describing these things. So setting should evoke our senses. What are our senses? What are our 5 senses? Name one. Out loud.
Smell. Taste. Hear. Touch. See.
Good. So when you think of setting, also think about your senses. How can I evoke the sense of smell? Like Em said, the smell of the fish head would definitely make my nose twitch. The sound of the barns mooing. It's kind of a lulling, peaceful sound. When they're in the barn, they're kind of talking to each other and getting ready to go get milked. The cats meowing. The pigs snorting. Lots of sounds. I can also envision, I'm sure there is a door that doesn't close completely and there's a breeze and it's pounding against the barn door. So a constant banging, clanging from the animals. So lots of noises, lots of smells, some good, some bad. But I'm sure if you're a farmer and you're living on a farm, all the smells are home. Just like the animals, that is their home. Yes, Helen?
I smell like that on our farm.
Yes. I'm sure you have all kinds of smells that evoke memories when you're talking about this setting. Yes, Em?
My cousin lives on a farm.
They're amazing places because there's never a dull moment on a farm. Never. All right, so let's move down to the sentence frames. So I want you to open and get to setting, and I want you to write the date, January 27th. And I want you to write Charlotte's Web. So we know journal entry is about Charlotte's Web. So write those two important parts down, and then I want you to pick a sentence frame or one of your own about a setting, most specifically about a setting in Charlotte's Web. Now we've already been to 2 settings in Charlotte's Web. Where was the first one that we could also talk about, or you could write about? What was the very first setting in the book, friends? Everybody focus on me. Where was Wilbur born, and where does the story take place? It is not at Uncle Zuckerman. Where is it? Winsheen. But what barn? Whose barn? It is a barn, but it's not Uncle Zuckerman's. Whose farm is Wilbur born in, and that is the very first setting of our book. Grayson. Yes. Yes, Fern's family farm, which was very idyllic and very sweet. So you can either write about Fern's farm or you can write about Uncle Zuckerman's farm. You have a choice. But you can write about the story takes place. I would describe the setting as, the setting is important to the story because if this story took place in another setting, that would be very different if all of the farm animals were in the city. Mass pandemonium. Or, like I said, you can pick your own setting, sentence frame to write about. All right, I'm going to give you a few minutes, not a lot, and then you can write your setting journal entry. And at this time, I would like you also to write about setting with Charlotte's Web. And then soon, if somebody wants to read, I will give somebody an opportunity to do that, so I will not turn you off yet. finish up. Do I have any volunteers who want to read theirs? Okay, Christian, come on up. Talk loud and proud.
Charlotte's Web. This story takes place in Fern's family farm and turns into another farm.
Okay. Very good. Anyone else want to share? No? Oh, Olivia.
Can I take my binder?
Sure.
This story takes place in Fern's farm where Wilbur is born.
Very good. And she runs back. Emma.
I would describe the setting as smelly, noisy, calming when you are away from your animals.
Very nice. Would you like to be in a barn or on a farm with the animals? Yes. I think it would be fun. I'm just telling Mrs. Hafley that the heat is cranked up in here and I'm dying. Oh, I was just texting you. The heat is cranked in here.
I'm from Pickett, Wisconsin. You know even where Pickett, Wisconsin is?
But I don't know if they
It's
changed the
warm
heat.
in here?
Oh, we're
Okay.
dying.
I will.
I'm like
come back.
melting.
I will contact.
Yes, please do, because I'm melting and pretty soon I'm going to be a puddle. And who is going to teach you all? All right, anybody, M.
E.B. White is
Talk louder, please.
E.B. White does really good discrimination
Description.
as setting. I can almost smell the hay and the grain in the manure pile, and I can picture the pig pen over there.
Very nice. Very good. Jeremiah.
This story takes place outside Southern Family.
All right, now, very nice, friends. So setting, we have a very distinct setting in our story, don't we? So, although we are at the very beginning of the story, I mean, the setting could change, but I suspect that we're always going to be on a farm setting. So, let us get Charlotte's Web out. I am going to turn off